Brimbank City podcast. I'm your host, Lydia.
We've got Shadi here.
Yes, and today is a very special day. We are actually celebrating Reconciliation Week. And today with us we have Liss Gabb and Aunty Ngardarb Riches. How are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah? Beautiful. Yeah, just to kick off the National Reconciliation Week, Aunty Nadab will be doing an acknowledgement.
We'll hand it over to you, Auntie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to, on behalf of us here and Liz, all of us, acknowledge the Kulin Nation, the custodians of this land, this great land in Melbourne and the surrounding areas. We want to acknowledge the elders, past and present, and those emerging.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. For those of you at home who don't know who Auntie Nadab is, we'd like a little bit of a background information on you. So first of all, who are you? Not in a rude way, but
Yeah.
I am many things. I wear lots of hats, but I'm a Bardi, Jawi and Garijari woman from the Kimberleys.
Yep.
But I've been living in Melbourne for a very long time.
awesome. And you've told us where you come from, which is in the whereabouts is the Kimberleys?
It's in the West Kimberley coast near Broome,
Okay, so in Western Australia.
Western Australia.
So you've made a long trip to come down to Melbourne.
She lives in
I
Melbourne now.
live here.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
No, that's beautiful. So, Aunty Nadab, you're a Brimbank resident.
Yes.
Yes. Apart from your sort of involvement with the council, what do you do outside of?
I'm studying. I'm just finishing a PhD.
Woohoo! Tell us.
And that's about healing through the arts, but it's looking through Indigenous lenses. So how we healed in our culture in the past, and we still do. And how we can use that to heal today, towards healing.
Beautiful. And obviously a PhD is a very high level academic sort of qualification. So in order to have got here, you would have had to do a bachelor's or a master's.
Actually, coming from a visual arts background,
Mhm.
I was a professional artist, still am. Travelled the world really with my art.
Wow.
But then I saw that art was more than just having, exhibitions and your paintings. I saw potential that art is healing. And it took me back to my roots, where what we did with the dance, paintings and other things, it was always there in the culture. And I think that kept us going,
Yeah.
kept us
Yeah.
going.
Beautiful.
So I'm doing a
Yeah.
master's in art therapy, and I'm hoping to get a placement in Brimbank.
Do you think
Liz is happy about
Do you-
that.
I think we might be able to sort that out.
I love it. Beautiful. On topic with the National Reconciliation Week, we thought it would be good to give. Sorry, the heater's flying around, making this fly around. We'll just talk briefly about Reconciliation Week. So, Reconciliation Week, if I'm not wrong, was initiated in 1996 by Reconciliation Australia, and their intention was to celebrate Indigenous history and culture in Australia and to foster reconciliation discussions and activities in Australia. It is a time for all Australians to really learn about our shared histories and cultures and achievements, and to explore how each of us can contribute to achieving reconciliation in Australia. It's important because it involves building positive, respectful relationships between Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and other Australians, enabling us to work together to close the gap as much as we can and to achieve a shared and increased sense of fairness and justice. If I'm not wrong, would you be able to clarify the dates that reconciliation run each year?
It starts on the 26th, which is the Sorry Day
Yeah.
of the Stolen Generation. It runs for a week.
Yes. Okay. And I thought that as I was reading about it, and in my case, I have a heightened interest on this topic, especially studying Aboriginal studies this year. I came across a well-known human rights activist that some of you may know, Desmond Tutu, and he made some comments that I found to be quite profound about what his idea of true reconciliation is. He said, True reconciliation exposes the awfulness, the abuse, the hurt, the truth. It could even sometimes make things worse. It is a risky undertaking, but in the end it is worthwhile, because in the end only an honest confrontation with reality can bring real healing. I particularly really like this quote because I agree that an honest confrontation can only happen through humility and the authentic desire to understand. Can I ask what Reconciliation Week means to you, Auntie Nadab?
There's lots of mixed emotions with that. Because on one hand, I could see the devastations that happened over the years. And, you know, as an Aboriginal woman, I carry a lot of that trauma and hurt that happened. And then, but I want to look forward to a new world, new connections, where we can all be together as one, understanding each other's cultures and way of life, and not quickly judging. You know, giving us all platforms to engage and work together.
Thank you. Liss, could I ask you what reconciliation, maybe before we do that, Liss, did you want to quickly introduce yourself and your role with the council?
Sure. So my name is Liss Gabb and I'm the Neighbourhood House Unit Coordinator for the City of Brimbank. So that means I look after all 6 community centres that the council manages. And I'm a friend of Nadab's and we've been friends for a very long time. And she's taught me a lot about Indigenous culture and Indigenous ways of being and knowing. And I guess reconciliation means for me, primarily it's about truth-telling, and it's about European and other non-Aboriginal people in Australia actually coming to understand what the true history of this country is, because I don't think we can move forward as one people until we acknowledge and also, not just acknowledge, but also there needs to be some reparation for the wrongs done, to Aboriginal people in this country. So I think it's about truth-telling. I think it's about forgiveness. I think it's about reparation and probably about, love as well. So I think it's a really, really important time to think more deeply about those things.
Thank you. And that really ties in nicely with this year's theme, because each year they choose a theme to run with for Reconciliation Week, and this year's theme is In This Together. So when you mention things like love and forgiveness and caring for one another, I think that really ties in nicely with this theme, and especially now, given our current climate with coronavirus.
It's sort of, it's like when they were thinking about it last year, it's like they knew what was going to happen this year because we're all in this together.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think it touches on more than just what we're going through COVID.
Yeah.
But it's really touching us on, we're all in this together.
Yeah, always, exactly. So that's Reconciliation Week in a nutshell. We now, Shadi, do you want to talk about where we are and where we're situated right now and the history behind this spot?
Yeah, so right now we're at the Hunt Club in Deer Park on Ballarat Road, which is situated in the Brimbank region. I was speaking to one of the guys here just earlier. So the Hunt Club was actually it's in Deer Park Hunt Club. They actually used to hunt deer around in the area.
Yeah.
So it sort of does make sense. And in the building just behind us is a hotel. So people used to come here on the weekend, leisurely, stay in the hotel, and go hunting. But here at the moment, we're sitting in the pottery room.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone's interested in pottery classes, please feel free, give one of our neighbourhood houses a call, see how you can join up, and enjoy the facilities that we have here. So we've got a kiln, we've got, we've got
pottery wheels.
Yeah, we've got everything here, really.
Yeah, no, it's a fully equipped pottery studio. And, prior to COVID, it was doing a lot of things.
Okay.
But of course, you know, we are about to reopen in a slow kind of staged way.
Yeah.
So we certainly will be doing more in the ceramics and pottery space.
Yeah.
You know, as the restrictions are rolled back, of course. Yeah.
Of course. And I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks we're getting more and more better news.
It's coming.
With regards to the restrictions?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we spoke about them last week.
We mentioned that people like the vulnerable year levels are back at school now, like prep and year 11. Was it year 11? VC.
Yeah, VCA,
yeah,
VCal.
VC, yeah, and VCal. Yeah, so that's good. And we can go to a cafe.
Yes.
It's just such a wild concept that we can go and sit in a
cafe and have a coffee with your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Couple of friends.
Couple.
No, you know what? What you do is you book out a whole restaurant for you and 19 of your friends.
Yeah.
You can have the whole cafe to yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing I'll be doing.
Love it.
Getting back on topic now.
Yeah.
Liss, you gave us a little bit of a background about what you do, but what I wanted to know is what the relationship between you and Auntie Nadab is and the works that you've done together, because from what I've been told, the impact that you've had within our community here is enormous, and the education and the programs that you've run together and separately has been changing within our community. So if you want to run us through a couple of those things, that'd be amazing.
Do you want to?
It's been really special, working with Liss, and you know, she's given us a space when we didn't have a space. She's given us a voice. We didn't have a voice, and it makes me emotional because we need people like her, and we've done heaps of stuff, haven't we?
We sure have. We started working together in Footscray, so always in the west, and we were working. We were both working for a community health organisation, and we started collaborating on a bunch of projects that, we brought a group of Aboriginal people all from all over the west together, and we called ourselves the Scattered Tribes. Because everybody was from different places.
Yep.
And we started looking at using art to connect people, to teach one another about culture. And Nadab's been a really important person in her community here. I mean, she's a traditional owner from One Arm Point up in the Kimberly. But because she was brought up, traditional way, and she has really strong roots with her culture, that was a really important thing that she could share with urban Aboriginal people here in the West who didn't necessarily haven't had that experience because they were either stolen generation or they'd been disconnected from country, So Nadab and her level of cultural knowledge has been something that she's shared with a lot of people in the Brimbank region and across the West as well, I would say.
Yeah, it's just connecting people up when everything's been dismantled.
Yeah.
And having that group, that space where everyone can meet each week. And we had elders that were stolen generation. And they were able to feel comfortable enough to start revealing their stories.
We're very fortunate enough to be able to have those stories. And thanks to like people like you, Liss, who opened up those spaces so we don't lose, our identity with, what happened.
That's right. We all need to understand what happened. And look, I'm just an enabler. I was just able to, to say to Nadab, you and the community, you do whatever you want in this space the way you want to do it. And we made all sorts of things. We made exhibitions. We sewed a possum skin cloak.
Wow.
We went back to country to take some of the elders back to where they were taken from.
Wow.
And we did murals, visited places, visited Healesville where it all started there with
at
Corandurk, and it was a special time. But also working with the other groups here in Brimbank, like the different immigrants or the new arrivals, that's been really great. I've been really feeling satisfied and fulfilled that they're hearing from an Aboriginal voice about Australia, because nobody really, when they come in, they don't even know where to start.
Yeah. That just speaks, that's a testament to the power that a platform does have when it's given to you. And it sounds like you guys have been engaging in sort of activities that are reconciling in nature, like you said, because it's like you're telling stories, you're sharing your culture and your truth with everyone. Next question was, I think going back to National Reconciliation Week, what do you believe, just based off how you see Australia approach this week every year, what do you think we could do to sort of improve our impact during this week?
I think there needs to be more discussions, dialogue, getting to know each other's cultures, being culturally aware, how to live together.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think it's the hard conversations that need to be had, and once we've had those hard conversations and we can reconcile with the past wrongs, then I think people are more open to to moving forward together. But I think knowing about Aboriginal culture, once you've shared with Aboriginal people how they view the world and how they respond to the world, I found myself anyway changed forever, in terms of how I saw this country, and how I see myself in this country,
Absolutely.
There was a project that we did together, and it was with our group again, and so we did this great big painting. I did this great big painting and I worked with the elders and the community people, that's our Aboriginal people in the West. We developed this painting, and it was part of reconciliation to the other groups, And we're always giving of ourselves, but we need that both ways.
Definitely. And I think that starts from the foundation of like our schooling system, for example, because my unit coordinator currently in my Aboriginal Studies unit really expresses with passion that some of the curriculum doesn't sort of include enough about who we are in this country, in the context of this country. And I was doing a quiz one day, and one of the questions it asked me, how much do you believe you know about Aboriginal culture? And I said that I actually believed that my understanding was quite poor. And then I was corrected in the answer saying, actually, just based off what you've done so far in this unit, which was only 2 weeks worth of content, you know more than most people. And so that was really telling of the fact that I've for example, myself, I've been here my whole life, and I feel like I should have understood sooner the importance of understanding the land on which I'm on and the history as well. So I definitely urge people, just sincerely to learn about Australia and the history of Australia.
Yeah, it does have to come from a young age, because it's all about learning. It's the life lessons that you learn from them. From learning from that young age, and then you will have a different outlook.
And it's never too late as well. It would be better. It would have been better had I known earlier. But yeah, it's never too late.
And there's not a lack of resources nowadays. There's not a lack of resources. We've got council which runs programs, with Auntie Nadab, with other elders within our community, and it all it takes is a phone call.
Yeah,
is to go, I want to learn a little bit more.
That's absolutely right. And there's lots of opportunities within, say, neighbourhood house programs. We've run some yarning circles at Westvale Community Centre, where we invited a whole range of Aboriginal women and women from the African diaspora to come together to share and to look at commonalities and differences, in their culture. And I think it's been proven time and time again, actually, that when you come somewhere else, like, so many migrants in this country. I mean, we're all migrants apart from the Aboriginal people.
Exactly.
When you do come to a country that isn't your country by heritage, if you understand the place that you've landed and you understand the Indigenous culture of the place that you've landed, you've got a much better chance of finding your own place to be here. There's been all sorts of research done about that. If you understand where you are, you got a much better chance of having a preferred kind of future in that country.
Wow. That's actually, I never thought about that, if I'm being honest. Yeah, but it makes a lot of sense. I think that actually kind of brings us to the end of. Is there any more questions, or is there anything else that you guys wanted to discuss?
I'd like to hear one final thing from Auntie Nadab, if you want to
Please.
wrap it up for us. How can we go forward, and what would you like to see happen next year for Reconciliation Week, or should every week be Reconciliation Week?
I think we need to work together all the time. It should be reconciliation all
Regardless.
the time. Regardless. But as Liz was saying, getting to know the areas, there's so much richness there with culture. Our people have survived for thousands of years. We've got so much knowledge that we can pass on. And just having that togetherness, respect, it's got to go both ways.
Yeah.
And from there, I think when you understand that, we can move forward.
Yeah, thank you. That was a beautiful way to wrap up. You guys are listening to the Brimbank City podcast. I'm your host, Lydia, and this is...
I'm Shadi.
You are Shadi.
And we're here at the Deer Park Hunt Club.
Yep.
And we had with us special guests Liss Gabb and Auntie Nadab, who we're more than happy to have on the show every single week if we can. You've enlightened us something new about Reconciliation Week.
Thanks.
And about what Reconciliation Week and what Sorry Day means to you. And we're hoping that in the future we can move forward from this. So if anyone's got any questions, please don't hesitate. Call. If you want to learn more, please don't hesitate. Call, comment, like, share and subscribe, and we'll be able to give you more information.
Definitely, yeah. All
So-
right, guys, have a good week. Thank you.
So,
Bye.